Money mantra. Money mantra. Manage your mind. Manage your money. Now, you know we're a generation of hustlers, creatives, and entrepreneurs, and all we want is financial freedom to build our empires. And the way to do that is through financial literacy. If you need some help with that, contact Sam Wise. Just hit up hello@samwiseapp.com. Let them know you heard about him on the Money Mantra podcast, and Lisa's going to send you back some great information. Peace, my people. Once again, it is your host, Visual. We're here with another episode of the Money Mantra. And today I have my friend Charlie Athanas with me. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. I mean, he has a very interesting life that has a few things to do with Star Wars, London, Barcelona, comic books, reggae legend Jimmy Cliff, Clive Barker, a one-of-a-kind vampire killing sword covered in golden gems, and John Madden football? Charlie, come on now. You've got some great things that you've experienced in your life, but I want you to tell us a little bit, more little detail, some personal things about yourself, whatever you'd like to share.
Well, thanks for having me on.
No doubt.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'm an old guy, so I'm going to be turning 60 very soon, and I've seen a few things in my life. Quite simply, when I was in my 20s, I got out of college. I had a fine arts degree and from Trinity University in San Antonio, and I looked at my life and I said, you know what? Up until now, I've led an incredibly privileged life. I'm an adopted kid. My parents took care of me, went on vacations, saw parts of the world. I mean, I could never ask for anything more than what I had at that point. I had more than most people ever had. We weren't rich, we were middle class, but I had it made. So at that point, I took a philosophical stance and I said, you know what? Since I've had it all, now I'm going to the fantasy stuff. And I said, until I'm 30, I'm gonna do whatever strikes my fancy. If I wanna be in a band, I'm gonna be in a band. If I wanna draw comic books, I'm gonna draw comic books. Like whatever fantasy life I want, I'm gonna do it. And so that's what I did. In my 20s, that's what I did. And I sought people out that were doing it. I put it out to the world. I said, I want to be a comic book artist. So people knew that. And when the opportunity came up, it came to me. I wanted to be a rock star. I went to, you want me to tell you the story about the rock star thing?
You could definitely tell us a story about the rock star thing.
All right. So I wanted to be a rock star. And I was singing with people. And everybody said, well, you know, the only way to be in a band is nobody wants a singer. Everybody's a singer. People, you gotta play an instrument. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta play an instrument. Like I wanna do this now. I don't wanna do this in 20 years. So I went to River City Music in San Antonio, Texas, and I looked around and I said, I'm not leaving this store till I have an instrument that I can play, because I wanna be in a band like now. So I looked at harmonica, I went, how hard, no. And then I looked at guitars, no way. Drums, I can't keep a beat for my life. And I saw this synthesizer. So this is 1979. So I saw this little Moog synthesizer and I said, you know what, I could just noodle. I could make noises and still sing. How hard could that be, right? So I spent like $400, bought this synthesizer, took it home, put an ad in the paper in San Antonio and said, I'm auditioning my band in a week. And found a club, got people to come. So I brought the box there and I pulled it out of the cardboard box and the wrapping. But beforehand, I had taped the notes over the keys. So during the audition, if somebody said the song is in C, I had at least 3 notes I could hit and I'd be like, okay, right? Because I'd marked them. So I knew I could get through this. And that was the start of my actual musical career. So I went on from there to be a sound man, a synth player, a composer for computer games, live gigs, open for Jimmy Cliff. You know, it all went from just saying, I'm going to do this. So my mantra in life comes down to one thing. It's do cool things with cool people.
Okay.
It's that simple. Seek out people you admire, people who are interesting, and then make it happen. Let them know what you want to do. Find out what they want, and then tell them what you want, and they will either do it with you or they will find somebody that can help you.
Excellent. So just to bring that back then, your money mantra is?
Do cool things with cool people.
Awesome. I love that one. Charlie, you mentioned a lot of interesting things already. Now, these things that you do and have done in your life, how did they bring money to you? What kind of streams of revenue have they brought in for you? And what exactly are your streams of revenue today?
Okay, this is a really interesting question. One of the problems with doing cool things with cool people, it doesn't always pay. On the other hand, sometimes it pays very handsomely.
Sure.
If I had to give one bit of advice from a 40-year career, is always be saving money. This sounds like I'm a grandfather and the old man going, let me tell you something. But I can look back on it and honestly tell you, $100 here, $50 there, stashed away.
Sure.
In the long run, you'll look back and go, you know, I've hit a crunch because I'm doing another cool thing with a cool person, but it doesn't pay. But I'm willing to do it because it's a really intriguing project that could lead to other things and I get to learn stuff.
Sure.
So sometimes money-wise, they don't pay at all. And you're in it for the experience. You have to be able to have people around you that can deal with that. People you marry, people, you know, they have to understand that. On the other hand, if you're dealing with really interesting people, eventually you begin to deal with people who are doing well in the industry. And they have money for projects. And you get paid top line money.
So could you tell me, just give me like maybe 2 or 3 ways that you've actually made money?
I've done a lot of consulting.
Okay.
And I've done a lot of startups.
Okay.
So my involvement has been both projects, and so I will make money with flat fees or per hour pay on projects. And those projects range from literally doing t-shirts for local bands for $50 to making very good money working for somebody like U2 in London.
Awesome.
So the range is really high and really low, and oddly enough, they both have a lot of value.
They do. They definitely do. I can only assume that you're referring to relationships with people that you that you gain, even if you're not making a lot of money. You build some great relationships.
Yes.
Which lead to other great things.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So we know you've had it kind of up and down as far as, you know, actually creating a revenue from these different ventures that you've had. I know what it is to be an artist, to be an entrepreneur, to be a creative guy that's just going around trying to enjoy life and get paid off his craft. But we all reach a time where it's like the toughest time that we've been in, the hardest time where it's just like, man, what am I going to do? And Charlie, I want to know about that time in your life where you just had your worst financial time.
That's an easy one. When I moved to Chicago, I was asked to come up here to do a play. I was playing synths in the band, doing music, and I was also acting, which is something I don't do now for very, very good reason. I learned my lesson. But I came up to Chicago from San Antonio to be in this play I'd been in San Antonio. And they had promised me there would be a job for me and a place to live. And when I got here, both of those, through no fault of their own, had fallen through. So I arrived in Chicago. I'd never been here before. Everything's in my car. And suddenly I had a week to find a place to live. And I had to figure out how to live on like nothing. So I spent a few days in the street. And then I realized I could sleep at the theater, government-owned building. So I would just squat. So my first 3 months in Chicago were squatting in a public building. And I would eat grilled cheese sandwiches every day, very cheap. Grilled cheese with bacon, very cheap. So while I was there, I was pulling phone numbers off of flyers in bars. That literally got me on a job doing a film scoring for an independent film. I pulled a phone number off the Ginger Man bar down by Wrigley Field, you know, the Ginger Man right across the street. There's a guy was shooting a movie.
Not familiar with that one.
Yeah. Cool bar. Lots of stuff happens in that neighborhood. It was right down from the Wild Hare when the Wild Hare was down there. It was like a couple of blocks.
Okay.
A couple blocks north. So somehow I managed to live in a public building, eke out like a few bucks here and there with odd jobs. Then I discovered temp jobs in Chicago. and I worked at like 7 different law firms, which is where I met my wife, doing temp job for a temp agency. I moved up from living in a public building to paying, I think it was $30 a month, living at North and Wood. Not the hip neighborhood it is now, to say the least. It was gang infested and cheap, but my buddy and I, we sublet from one of the dancers in the show. Again, $30 a month.
$30 a month. That's, wow.
Yeah, Chicago is a city you could survive in. One of the great things about Chicago as an artist, you can do intriguing, fascinating projects and live on very little if you apply yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. So that goes right along to what I want to ask next, and that's what did you learn from that experience, and what do you think you'd want the listeners to take away from that experience?
The worst is never the worst. You can always go farther down. I have to tell you can always go farther down. On the other hand, you can always still be working. And by that, I mean you can always still be making your art. You can always still be connecting to people. It does not require money to meet other artists and to meet interesting people and to meet smart people who can help you in the long run. That does not require money. That requires communication, being open to people, and letting people know what you want.
Yeah.
So that doesn't require money. And in the end, that will get you money, because that's how you get work and projects, and people say, you know what, I like what you're talking about, I like your spirit, I like what you've done, I'm gonna hire you. Either hire you for the company or for a project, or the next thing you know, you're now beginning to make money. But you have to get out there. You can't do it from inside your house.
Most definitely. That's great advice, Charlie. That's definitely some great insight. So tell me about a time, something recent, something in the past where there had to be a change in your life. Something for your own personal development. You just knew you had to make a change. I want to know about that in detail and kind of what you were going through.
That's easy. That's a follow-up to the whole temp work thing. So I was doing temp work, making like, I don't know, $5 an hour, working in law firms. Boring, horrible work. Nice people. I met a lot of lawyers. I met a lot of nice people. But after, I guess, I don't know how long I did it, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, I would literally get on the L and have stomach aches. I was physically repulsed by what I was doing because it was repetitive. It was not what I'm supposed to be doing in life. I was literally spending 8 to 9 hours a day making very little money, doing soul-sucking work. And in the middle of that, I started drawing on Post-it notes and making a comic book while at the law firm. It got to the point where even the lawyers wanted the comic book. Even though I wasn't working, they were like, I said, I know I'm not working. We don't care. We want the comic book. We love the comic book. So the indicator there was, I literally physically have to leave this. I have to find something else. So if I remember correctly, I got a couple of paying projects, but I also went and sought out a job where I could be doing artwork and doing something. So I ended up going to a flexographic printing place. I don't know if you know what that is, but
I'm not familiar with that.
It's a kind of printing where they put flexible rubber dies, like big rubber stamps on drums, and then they roll like corrugated cardboard. So the cardboard boxes you get, and it shows you like ingredients and this end up and all that.
Sure.
Those are done on huge plates.
Wow. Okay.
And so I got involved with that. It was on the South Loop when the South Loop was really industrialized, but it was a good gig. Mm-hmm. And I was doing art in a weird way. I was making logos. I was designing packaging, and so I found a way to apply what I liked, which was artwork, and start moving up and looking for a better paying gig, something that paid me once a week. I had a paycheck. Life was good then. It was a really steady paycheck, and I was not doing depositions.
Right.
Indexing depositions, which is like the worst thing in the world. So that was that's how I got out of that, was just find a step in the right direction. And from there, again, I want to do a comic book, right? Remember that fantasy mode I talked about earlier?
Yeah.
All this time, by the way, I was playing in bands.
Nice.
So at night, I was making music. The whole time all this crap was going on, I was still playing. So I was still being an artist on that end. And I put out the word that I wanted to do a comic book. And a friend of a friend was at a grocery store who saw another friend, and they said, wow, we really need a guy who can who knows computers and knows comic books. So this is the mid 80s, right? So nobody had computers, right?
Wow.
And
yeah, that's awesome, man.
and so in the meantime, in all of this time, remember I was saying do cool things with cool people? So
Yeah.
I was broke.
Yeah.
While I was broke, I literally had a music video shown around the world because I was working with people at the Electronic Visualization Lab at the University of Illinois in Chicago, which was a graduate program for engineers and artists put together to learn computer graphics. One of the first program of its kind.
Nice.
And so I was doing soundtracks for people. They would make computer generated music videos and they needed soundtracks. So I would do the soundtracks for them for free.
Awesome.
So I did a lot of that, and through that I met other people, and then I was going to like the SIGGRAPH conference, which is this big international conference, and we, doing music videos on our own and winning awards and getting on TV and doing all that stuff, all for free. But the connections I made led to other stuff, and in the end, somebody said, oh, we got this comic book we're doing. It's the very first computer-generated comic book called Shatter. And we lost our first artist. He did 3 issues and then he ditched us. And again, somebody was complaining at a grocery store, a friend, and they said, well, I know this guy named Charlie, and he knows computers, and he's a hell of a comic book fanatic. Give him a call. That's what I did. I got the job like a week later, and it was my first big paying gig. I mean, I got paid really good money for that. Wow. And that's all because I was doing cool things with cool people, building skill sets. So I was at the right place at the right time with what somebody needed.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a recurring theme here, Charlie, and yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that you're just continuously just showed people your value.
Yeah.
You just continuously showed people your value, your passion, and what you like to do. You spoke it into action and into existence, and it turned into actions that man, they bring you here now, to the full life that you've lived so far. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that came out is helping other people.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
Like, how can I contribute to your dream, and that will help mine?
Sure.
If I only focus on me, not good, because then that has never worked for me. If I just focus on me and take from people, like I need you to help with my project, and that's all I did, it's a dead end.
Yeah.
It's a dead end.
That's true. I always heard the people that take get taken from them, and the people that give they get given.
Yeah.
So great philosophy there. Great insight. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna get in tune with some of the people that support the program, and then we'll be right back to wrap it up. What's good, my people? So, one thing I really dig about being an entrepreneur is the marketing and branding aspect. There's something great about having an idea and being able to manifest it in a way that really gravitates to people. And something that's been able to help me do that is Wave. I went to wave.video, that's WAVVE.video, where I was able to create images and combine them with some audio from the podcast and turn those into video. I've been able to use that video all over the Money Mantra social media. You could go check those out right now. If you want to create your own like that, just go to wave.video. That's WAVVE.video. All right, my people, it's Visual once again, and we're right back here with Charlie Athanas. And so far, everything has been great. We're having a great conversation, and we're going to get into these last few questions. Charlie, how you feeling right now?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Good. So let me get into this one right here from the top. What is your biggest challenge when dealing with money?
Negotiation. Negotiation.
How about personal mindset? What is your biggest challenge?
For a long time, I would spend it all on my art, and I would justify spending it on my art when I look back now and it wasn't really for that. It was just because I just wanted something.
Got it. How about your biggest strength when dealing with money?
These days, I'm actually doing pretty good at not spending on frivolous things. And I don't know if that's a long life and just getting bored with it, but I'm learning how to live without just spending money on crap.
Living and learning, Charlie. That's what it is. What is your strongest personal mindset?
I'm old enough to know what I don't know to a degree, but I don't let that stop me from trying new things.
Awesome. Charlie, what's a daily routine or a habit that keeps you focused on all of your goals?
I'm a list maker. I make lists on everything. Lists everywhere.
I love lists. Can you tell us an app, software, service, or resource that helps you with your money mantra that we spoke about earlier?
Something that's really been good for me is Twitter. Okay. I really actively pursued finding interesting people to follow, and from them I get software advice, and also I get Twitter's worked out really well for me to learn interesting new things that help me with my career and with tools and things I should be investigating.
Awesome. Have you worked with anyone that you've met on Twitter?
I think so. I work with a lot of people. I'm trying to remember if I met them on Twitter first or not.
Right.
I can't honestly answer that right now.
Okay.
Probably, I would think.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Charlie, give us a book or a film that you recommend and tell us why.
Oh, you need career-wise or just
anything?
Entertainment?
Anything that makes you laugh, love, live life better.
Oh my God, I'm a big reader.
Okay.
So this is hard to pick like one. So I'll pick one.
Sure.
Okay, there's a book by a guy named Tim Powers called Declare. And it's a fascinating book for me because it combines World War II alternative history spy novel with the supernatural in a perfectly blended way where when it shows up halfway through the book, it fits into the real world so naturally, and it's shocking and it's epic and it's mind-blowing. So I would recommend the book Declare by Tim Powers.
Awesome. Sounds very interesting. So this right here is probably my favorite question, man. Everybody always has a very interesting answer to this.
Okay.
What would you do in detail, okay? What would you do, or what have you done maybe, with your first $1 million?
You know, the first million was so hard, I quit. I'm on my second million now. I'm working on my second million. What would I do with $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy. At my age now, I would definitely take a large chunk of it, save it, and invest it right away. First things first, get some financial advice, and realize that even though I could spend it in an instant. I'm sure there's 1,000 things I could buy. Like right now, I'm blow through $1 million easily. I'm wise enough now to go, okay, don't do that. Because if you do interesting things, there are times when you're going to do it for no money. And in those times, that's when you need your backup. So if you're an artist, there are projects and things you're going to want to do that don't pay. And you want to do it for purely the experience and the fulfillment of your life and the chance to work with somebody you respect and learn. And you need that backup to let you have those experiences in life and not be trapped by no money. So I would take that $1 million and give me my fuck around money.
Yes, I like that. I definitely like that. All right, Charlie. So, wow. We're coming right here to the end, Charlie. I just want you to leave us with some final personal advice and definitely let us know where we could contact you.
I can tell you right off the bat, my website is burningscity.com. You can Google my name on the web, and I've been involved with computers and the internet for a long time, so you can find me. I'm very hard. I can't, if I wanted to disappear, I couldn't. I would say, I once met an artist that was really smart. She has since passed away. She was a performance artist, and she succinctly put what I think a lot of us want. All she wanted was a thing she called it quiet wealth, meaning she didn't want to make a lot of money. She wanted to make enough money to pay her bills and do her art. That's it. She could die a happy woman, satisfied with the ability to do that. And anything beyond, if it happens, it happens, But her goal in life was just to get there. She just wanted quiet wealth, to live life without fear on a monetary level, and to have just enough to do her art.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank
and
you.
As always, to you and to all our listeners, peace, blessings, hundreds of lessons, my friend. This is the Money Mantra. This is Visual. Until next time.